Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe. Today's reading will be the beginning of chapter 6, titled The 12th Planet, in Zecharia Sitchin's The 12th Planet. The suggestion that Earth was visited by intelligent beings from elsewhere postulates the existence of another celestial body upon which intelligent beings established a civilization more advanced than ours. Speculation regarding the possibility of Earth visitation by intelligent beings from elsewhere has centered in the past on such planets as Mars or Venus as their place of origin. However, now that it is virtually certain that these two planetary neighbors of Earth have either intelligent life nor an advanced civilization upon them, those who believe in such Earth visitations look to other galaxies and to distant stars as the home of such extraterrestrial astronauts. The advantage of such suggestions is that while they cannot be proved, they cannot be disproved either. The disadvantage is that these suggested homes are fantastically distant from Earth, requiring years upon years of travel at the speed of light. The authors of such suggestions therefore postulate one-way trips to Earth, a team of astronauts on a no-return mission, or perhaps on a spaceship lost and out of control, crash landing upon Earth. There is definitely not the Sumerian notion of the heavenly abode of the gods. The Sumerians accepted the existence of such a heavenly abode, a pure place, a primeval abode, while Enlil, Enki, and Ninurshag went to Earth and made their home upon it. Their father Anu remained in the heavenly abode as its ruler. Not only occasional references in various texts, but also detailed god lists actually named 21 divine couples of the dynasty that preceded Anu on the throne of the pure place. Anu himself resigned over a court of great splendor and extent. As Gilgamesh reported and the book of Ezekiel confirmed, it was a place with an artificial garden, sculpted wholly of semi-precious stones. There Anu resided with his official consort Antu and 6 concubines, 80 offspring, of which 14 were by Antu, 1 prime minister, 3 commanders in charge of the Mus or MUs, which were described as rocket ships, 2 commanders of the weapons, 2 great masters of written knowledge, 1 minister of the purse, 2 chief justices, 2 who was sound in press, and 2 chief scribes with 5 assistant scribes. Mesopotamian texts refer frequently to the magnificence of the abode of Anu and the gods and weapons that guarded its gateway. The tale of Adapa reports that the god Enki, having provided Adapa with the Shem, made him take the road to heaven, and to heaven he went up. When he had ascended to heaven, he approached the gate of Anu. Tammuz and Gazida were standing guard at the gate of Anu. Guarded by the divine weapons Shar-Ur, or royal hunter, and Shar-Gaz, the royal killer, the throne room of Anu was the place of the assembly of the gods. On such occasions, a strict protocol governed the order of entering and seating. Enlil enters the throne room of Anu, seats himself at the place of the right tiara, on the right of Anu. Ea enters the throne room of Anu, seats himself at the place of the seated tiara of the sacred tiara, on the left of Anu. The gods of heaven and earth of the ancient Near East not only originated in the heavens, but could also return to the heavenly abode. Anu occasionally came down to earth on state visits. Ishtar went up to Anu at least twice, Enlil Center in Nippur was equipped as a bound heaven-earth. Shamash was in charge of the eagles and the launching place of the rocket ships. Gilgamesh went up to the place of eternity and returned to Uruk. Adapa too made the trip and came back to tell about it. So did the biblical king Attyr. A number of Mesopotamian texts deal with the Apkallu, an Akkadian term stemming from the Sumerian Abgal, great one who leads, or master who points the way. A study by Gustav Guterbach in Die historische Tradition und ihre literarische Gestaltung bei Babylonier und Hethiten. Which, I'm sorry for y'all, I'm not versed in German, which sounds like German to me. Ascertained that these were the birdmen depicted as the eagles that we have already shown. The text that spoke of their feats said of one that he brought down Inanna from heaven to the Inanna temple made her descend. This and other references indicate that these Apkallu were the pilots of the spaceships of the Nephilim. Two-way travel was not only possible, but actually contemplated to begin with. For we are told that, having decided to establish in Sumer the gateway of the gods, Babili, the leader of the gods, explained, when to the primeval source for assembly you shall ascend, there shall be a rest place for the night to receive you all. When from the heavens for assembly you shall descend, there shall be a rest place for the night to receive you all. Realizing that such two-way travel between earth and the heavenly abode was both contemplated and practiced, the people of Sumer did not exile their gods to distant galaxies. The abode of the gods, their legacy discloses, was within our own solar system. We have seen Shamash in his official uniform as commander of the eagles. On each of his wrists he wears a watch-like object held in place by metal clasps. Other depictions of the eagles reveal that all the important ones wore such objects. Whether they were merely decorative or served a useful purpose, we do not know. But all scholars agreed that the objects represented rosettes, a circular cluster of petals radiating from a central point, in figure 86 on the next page. The rosette was the most common decorative temple symbol throughout the ancient lands, prevalent in Mesopotamia, Western Asia, Anatolia, Cyprus, Crete, and Greece. It is the accepted view that the rosette as a temple symbol was an outgrowth or stylization of a celestial phenomenon, a sun encircled by its satellites. That the ancient astronauts wore this symbol on their wrists adds credence to this view. An Assyrian depiction of the gateway of Anu in the heavenly abode, on figure 87, confirms ancient familiarity with the celestial system, such as our sun and its planets. The gateway is flanked by two eagles, indicating that their services are needed to reach the heavenly abode. The winged globe, the supreme divine emblem, marks the gateway. It is flanked by the celestial symbols of the number 7 and the crescent representing, which we believe, Anu flanked by Enlil and Enki. Excuse me. We are the celestial bodies represented by these symbols. Where are the celestial bodies represented by these symbols? Where is the heavenly abode? The ancient artist answers with yet another depiction, that of a large celestial deity extending its rays to 11 smaller celestial bodies encircling it. It is a representation of a sun orbited by 11 planets. That this was not an isolated representation can be shown by reproducing other depictions on cylinder seals, like this one from the Berlin Museum of the Ancient Near East on figure 88. When the central god or celestial body in the Berlin seal is enlarged, figure 89, we can see that it depicts a large ray-emitting star surrounded by 11 heavenly bodies, or planets. These in turn rest on a chain of 24 smaller globes. Is it only a coincidence that the number of all the moons or satellites of the planets in our solar system? Astronomers exclude those of 10 miles or less in diameter, is also exactly 24. Now there is, of course, a catch to claiming that these depictions of a sun and 11 planets represent our solar system, for our scholars tell us that the planetary system of which Earth is a part comprises the sun, Earth, and Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Up at the top, figure 86 was Sitchin talking about the wrist guards that these people would wear. And I'm gonna leave you guys here, pause for a little bit while I get something to drink. Okay, everyone. This adds up to the sun and only 10 planets, when the moon is counted as one. But that is not what the Sumerians said. They claimed that our system was made up of the sun and 11 planets, counting the moon, and held steadfastly to the opinion that in addition to the planets known to us today, there has been a 12th member of the solar system, the home planet of the Nephilim. We shall call it the 12th planet. Before we check the accuracy of the Sumerian information, let us review the history of our own knowledge of Earth and the heavens around it. We know today that beyond the giant planets Jupiter and Saturn, at distances insignificant in terms of the universe, but immense in human terms, two more major planets, Uranus and Neptune, and a third, small one, Pluto, belong to our solar system. But such knowledge is quite recent. Uranus was discovered though through the use of improved telescopes in 1781. After observing it for some 50 years, some astronomers reached the conclusion that its orbit revealed the influence of yet another planet. Guided by such mathematical calculations, the missing planet named Neptune was pinpointed by astronomers in 1846. Then, by the end of the 19th century, it became evident that Neptune itself was being subjected to unknown gravitational pull. Was there yet another planet in our solar system? The puzzle was solved in 1930 with observation and location of Pluto. Up to 1780, then, and for centuries before that, people believed there was 7 members of our solar system: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Earth was not counted as a planet because it was believed that these other celestial bodies circled Earth, the most important celestial body created by God, with God's most important creation, man, upon it. Our textbooks generally credit Nicholas Copernicus with the discovery that Earth is only one of several planets in a heliocentric or sun-centered system. Fearing the wrath of the Christian Church for challenging Earth's central position, Copernicus published his study De Revolutionibus Orbium Coelestium only only when on his deathbed in 1543. Excuse me. Spurred to re-examine centuries-old astronomical concepts primarily by the navigational needs of the age of discovery and by the findings of Columbus in 1492, Magellan in 1520, and others that Earth was not flat but spherical, Copernicus depended on mathematical calculations and searched for the answers in ancient writings. One of the few churchmen who supported Copernicus, Cardinal Schonberg, wrote to him in 1536, "I have learned that you know not only the groundwork of the ancient mathematical doctrines, but that you have created a new theory, according to which the earth is in motion, and it is the sun which occupies the fundamental and therefore the cardinal position." The concepts then held were based on Greek and Roman traditions that earth, which was flat, was vaulted over by the distant heavens. By the distant heavens in which the stars were fixed. Against the star-studded heavens, the planets, from the Greek word for wanderer, moved around earth. There were thus 7 celestial bodies, from which the 7 days of the week and their names originated: the sun for Sunday, moon for Monday, Mars for Mardi, Mercury for Mercredi, Jupiter for Judy, Venus for Vendredi, Saturn for Saturday, in Figure 90. These astronomical notions stemmed from the works and codifications of Ptolemy, an astronomer in the city of Alexandria, Egypt, in the 2nd century A.D. His definite findings were that the sun, moon, and 5 planets moved in circles around Earth. Ptolemaic astronomy predominated for more than 1,300 years until Copernicus put the sun in the center. While some have called Copernicus the father of modern astronomy, others view him more as a researcher and reconstructor of earlier ideas. The fact is that he pored over the writings of Greek astronomers who preceded Ptolemy, such as Hipparchus and Aristarchus of Samos. The later suggested in the 3rd century BC that the motions of the heavenly bodies could better be explained if the sun and not earth were assumed to be in the center. In fact, 2,000 years before Copernicus, Greek astronomers listed the planets in the correct order from the sun, acknowledging thereby that the sun, not earth, was the solar system's focal point. Here's figure 90 depicting the quote-unquote flat earth. The heliocentric concept was only rediscovered by Copernicus, and the interesting fact is that astronomers knew more in 500 BC than in AD 500 and 1500. Indeed, scholars are now hard to put to explain why first the later Greeks and then the Romans assumed that Earth was flat, rising above a layer of murky waters below which there lay Hades or Hell, when some of the evidence left by Greek astronomers from earlier times indicates that they knew otherwise. Hipparchus, who lived in Asia Minor in the 2nd century BC, discussed that the displacement of the solstitial and equinoctial sign, the phenomenon now called precession of the equinoxes, but the phenomenon can be explained only in terms of a spherical astronomy, whereby Earth is surrounded by the other celestial bodies as a sphere with a spherical universe. Did Hipparchus then know that Earth was a globe, and did he make his calculations in terms of a spherical astronomy? Equally important is yet another question. The phenomenon of the precession could be observed by hey, by relating the arrival of spring to the sun's position as seen from Earth in a given zodiacal constellation. But the shift from one zodiacal house to another requires 2,160 years. Hipparchus certainly could not have lived long enough to make that astronomical observation. Where then did he obtain his information? Exodus, oh, Eudoxus of Cnidus, another Greek mathematician and astronomer who lived in Asia Minor 2 centuries before Hipparchus, designed a celestial sphere, a copy of which was set up in Rome as a statue of Atlas supporting the world. The designs on the sphere represent the zodiacal constellations, but if Eudoxus conceived the heavens as a sphere, where in relation to the heavens was Earth? Did he think that the celestial globe rested on a flat Earth, a most awkward arrangement, or did he know of a spherical Earth enveloped by a celestial sphere? And below is, excuse me. Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to come over this sinus irritation. But this is the figure below. Sitchin was talking about everything being spherical, spheres within other spheres, and these are the constellations with a spherical view. The works, the works of Eudoxus, lost in their originals, have come down to us thanks to the poems of Aratus, who in the 3rd century BC translated the facts put forth by the astronomer into poetic language. In this poem, which we must have been familiar to St. Paul, who quoted from it, the constellations are described in great detail, drawn all around, and their grouping and naming is ascribed to a very remote prior age. Some men of yore, a nomenclature thought of and devised, and appropriate forms found. Who were the men of yore to whom Eudoxus attributed the designation of the constellations? Based on certain clues in the poem, modern astronomers believe that the Greek verses describe the heavens as they were observed in Mesopotamia circa 2200 BC. The fact that both Hipparchus and Eudoxus lived in Asia Minor raises the probability that they drew their knowledge from Hittite sources. Perhaps they even visited the Hittite capital and viewed the divine procession carved on the rocks there. For among the marching gods, 2 bull men hold up a globe, a sight that might as well have inspired Eudoxus to scope Atlas and the celestial sphere in figure 92. So here's those 2 dudes holding up the sphere, or bull dudes. And here's the other celestials. It just sucks because these pictures in the book really don't do justice for the actual thing, you know? But we'll go ahead and stop there for today, guys. Tomorrow will be the second part of Chapter 6, the 12th planet, in Zecharia Sitchin's The 12th Planet. Thank you all for being here, for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. I appreciate that. And most importantly, stay safe out there and be calm. Thank you.